Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about dampness in the Indian context. Dampness in the wall, on your ceiling, on the floor, etc. Before I continue, I request you please subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so that you get notified of all our latest videos. Uh, if you've been living in India, you know that the monsoons are really heavy. And as you can see, it causes a lot of flooding or there is incessant rainfall for long periods of time. This, without saying, will cause dampness. And dampness could cause problems in the ceiling, as you can see here, where paint peels off. And these are pictures from our project that we have addressed, and these are things that we have helped our clients. So these are what happens when there is dampness in the ceiling and walls. As you can see that the water has risen on the wall to a certain level, and then in basements you can see that there's a lot of problem and water oozes from the side, and this causes water stagnation, maybe even mold or moss, right? So what causes this dampness? We all know that there is excessive moisture causes dampness, and if there's dampness there is potential for mold to grow, which we'll talk about later, which is also very dangerous. But moisture in the building can be caused by leaking pipes, caused by rising damp, rain seeping in because of damages in the roof or around the window frames, and also it could be in a newly built home. Damp occurs when water raises when it's drying out. So I'll take you through a few points. So you have leaking pipes, right? So as you can see in your apartment, if you're living in an apartment, and in the toilet there's either a sunken slab or there's a false ceiling, right? There's a sunken slab and then there's a false ceiling at the bottom of it. So and then you have embedded pipes in it. But if the embedded pipe starts leaking, or if the paper joint between two tiles erodes and then the water goes through and there is no proper waterproofing done, then the water will seep through and come down to the floor below. So as you can see here, there is water that's leaking and has come down to the floor below. Now, why does this happen? This could be because that there is a gap between the slab and the water outlet, or workmanship is not proper, which has caused a gap between the tile that's been laid and the slab and then the exit, the water outlet, right? So the water then enters that particular part, enters the slab and then comes out, which causes dampness at the bottom. Or if you have pipes which have been tightened, over tightened, then the pipe tends to crack. If that cracks, then the water seeps and then starts permeating everywhere, and then the water starts leaking wherever it finds the shortest path. What we should remember is water takes the shortest path from point A to point B. So if there is waterproofing on one part, then it will just go up and until it finds a part where there is not waterproof, and then it manifests. So that's why you see that the wall between your bedroom and the bathroom, if there's waterproofing done till 2 feet or 3 feet, then the water starts going up and then you'll have patches over a certain level. So that's where it starts manifesting. Or if, as I had shown, there was a video earlier where we saw that when a shower was turned on, there was leaking from the sink. That means that water had gone through behind the dado and was coming out, right? So you never know where this manifests. This is a case that had happened, and as you can see here, we had to open this up and we saw that water was stagnating in this corner. So that is one improper workmanship. Water should flow here and exit this spout. But what was happening is that water was stagnating here, and there were also these gaps between the tiles were not filled. So water was percolating through that and causing a lot of problems. And in this case here, water was going between the tiles and the slab, and that continued. And guess what happened? If you can take a guess as to what the result of this was. The problem was not on that particular floor, but the floor below. So the water had spread completely everywhere, and this then spread to the other places, and the water had permeated so much that the apartment below had a problem in their living room. So the ceiling was losing paint. Now let's take a look at another case. In this case, we have a gap between the wall and the tiling. Now this may seem small, But if this is not taken care of, and as you can see, this is dirt here, so water was accumulating. And when water accumulated, it caused a problem. So water accumulated and went inside and then rose onto the wall. And this is the damage that it created. Right? So you never know where water comes up and what it does. So this is all due to improper workmanship. What is rising damp? Rising damp is the term used for absorption of water in the lower sections of the wall. This could be because of water table that is low, or there's groundwater. This generally you can see this in a house on the first floor, on the ground floor, and not higher, right? So this is how it looks if water raises from the bottom and comes all the way to the top. The reason why it looks dirty is because the salts in the water deposit on the wall and leave stains. The other thing is rainwater will seep in through the windows. If the windows are not watertight, or the windows are not manufactured properly or not built properly by a carpenter, then water will seep in and then go between the cracks between the wall and the window, go inside or go in under the sill, and outside, if the sill and bottom of the sill has not been plastered, then water will go in and then go into the wall and cause a lot of problems. So that also needs to be taken care of. And if you have a chadja, if the chadja is not properly done, and if there's not enough plaster, if there's not enough coving, then the water will go through with that crack and cause problems, right? And this causes a lot of ill effects. Now, health is one of the problems. Because you have a lot of dampness, mold can grow. Mold and fungus, when it grows, it causes a lot of effects to a person's health. And it is very detrimental to young children and old people. Prolonged exposure can cause asthma, which is very, very bad. So please be careful, please take care of your house, and please take care of your health. But not only to health, it also causes problem to the structure. Now, iron has very high density. That means its volume at that particular dimension is low. But when iron corrodes and forms iron oxide, its density decreases and expands. So it forms iron oxide, which then expands because it has higher volume. This then cracks the concrete. So this is called spalling. Now, if this is not taken care of earlier on, it can weaken the structure at a very deep level, and aesthetically it can cause harm, and it will end up looking like this. So you want to be very careful. And how do we as professionals find these problems? If something is very manifest, as you saw in the pictures, you can see it visually, or you can touch it tactile or touching, and you can see that there's dampness. But if it is hidden, then we use certain technologies such as an infrared camera and a moisture meter. We have to use this in conjunction, because if you just look at a moisture meter, a particular wall or a floor or a ceiling can be cool because of an AC vent blowing on it, right? But we want to make sure that it's also moist. So that's why we use a moisture meter in conjunction with an infrared camera to make sure that there is dampness present. Then how do we find out where the problems are? So because of experience of the people in our team, we also understand where dampness could be, and the root cause analysis gives you an understanding of the problem, and then we are able to trace it. In certain cases, as we spoke of earlier, we saw that there was gaps between the slab and the tile, so we had water seeping in through that, or there could be gaps between this. Now, this could seem very simple after I mention it to you, but what you should understand is to find that particular problem is not easy at that point in time. So it takes a lot of experience and effort to do that. We always say, when you're ill, you go to a doctor. When you need legal advice, you go to a lawyer. But when you need professional advice for leakage, why don't you come to a professional like us? We will help you. Please follow us, subscribe us, and you can always get in touch with us via email at getnemmadi@nemmadi.in, or you can WhatsApp us at this number. Thank you very much.